Well, gang line, Carolina Jackpot time coming at you this Saturday. That also means that is July the 9th, 2022. Hope everyone's having a great Saturday. Wanted to jump on here real quick and talk some more about 2022 college football, man. I am so sick and damn tired. Now, I don't know if the rest of you feel the same way that I do. I'm sick of hearing about this conference realignment stuff. There are so many YouTubers right now that do college football stuff that are getting, I ain't gonna say they're getting rich, but they getting some nice pocket cha-ching, making videos, getting hella views, talking about this, and it's all the same old shit. And it's all speculation. Whatever the scenario is, it's all speculation at this point. We don't know if any of this stuff's going to take place or not. And you know, who saw the damn thing happening in the Pac-12 with the UCLA and USC? That came out of left field. I mean, hell, Louisville could be headed over there to join that damn conference for all you know. We don't know, so I'm not putting any kind of videos out about that garbage. I don't. It's fun to talk about for a few days, but then after that, to me, it becomes old, and it's just like, you know, the proverbial nails against the chalkboard, in the opinion of Carolina Jackpot. I'm ready to talk some college football. I'm ready to talk the 2022 season. I'm ready to talk about the South Carolina Gamecocks. A lot of folks out there, especially in Gamecock Nation, are projecting some win-loss totals that I think are a little bit, they're a little bit, I don't want to say delusional, I want to say that they're putting too much into some of these predictions. They have higher hopes than I think that is what is really realistic. I guess is what I'm trying to say. They're not being delusional, because when you look at it on paper, you look at the transfer portal, you look at the additions that South Carolina's made, it looks like it could shape up to be a pretty good season. It especially looks like it could shape up to be, I don't want to say a really good offense, but I'm going to say a much, much, much more improved offense than what we saw last year. Here's the problem. Number one, Marcus Satterfield. This guy was an absolutely horrible offensive coordinator last year, in my opinion. We still had some tools out there to work with. Even though, you know, starting quarterback Luke Doty went down with injury, everybody wants to talk about how awful the quarterback room was last year. Was it really? Was it really that awful? Was Zeb Noland really a horrible quarterback? I thought the guy had a decent presence in the pocket. We gave up 31 sacks last year. 31 sacks. That is up from 27 the year before. Now, granted, that was a COVID year, but you also, you only played conference competition that year, right? So it was tougher, in theory. He's still the offensive coordinator. The fat Arn Anderson, Greg Atkins, is still the offensive line coach. Offensive line struggled last year a lot. It was bad at times. At times it was even worse. At times it was unwatchable. In the bowl game, all these problems just seemingly went away. They all seemingly went away. Was it a month of preparation after getting your face knocked in by Clemson, which should have never happened? Is that what lit a fire under you? Or was it just the month off? Or was it the month that you had to prepare and you got things right? Was it North Carolina not wanting to be there? Well, you know what? They might have not wanted to be there. If they didn't want to be there, they shouldn't have finished 6-6. They should have finished 6-6. That's what I say when people say, hey, well, it happened because they didn't want to be there. Well, you know, if you hadn't finished with a particular record, if you hadn't lost to a particular team during the regular season,
turn left onto Army Road.
I plan on it. You would not be there, so you wouldn't have to worry about not wanting to be there. If you can follow all that verbiage. So that's Carolina Jackpot's. That's Carolina Jackpot's take on that stuff. But to be quite honest with you, I think that the upgrades at quarterback, I think it's not that the tight end position was a bad position for South Carolina. That's going to be
turn left onto Equestrian
That's
Way.
going to be a significant improvement for South Carolina this year. When you add in an all Big 12 tight end and Stogner, the fact that offensive line couldn't block last year, is that going to amp that up a little bit? I mean, I'm not sure what kind of blocker he is. I'm not sure if he's more of a pass catcher or if he's more of a blocker. We'll find out. But I think that's significantly going to boost that offensive line up a little bit. That's the issue. Your offensive line and your offensive play calling. Quarterback, I don't believe so much was the issue last year. At the running back position, this year we're as good, if not better than last year. Okay, you got Juju McDowell, another year under his belt. Had a great freshman season. I don't think he got the ball enough. Zaquandre White, he's moved on. But you return Marshawn Lloyd, who hurt himself the first of practice in 2020, tore his ACL, I think the first day of practice, and he was gone, which is just an absolute tragedy right there. Something that really couldn't be avoided, couldn't be helped. Last year, I think he played admirably for what he had to work with. I don't think that he was ever 100%. He looked really ginger a lot of the year when he was running the football, especially against some of the better competition. So I look for him to be much improved this year. I look for him to be more the form of what we thought we would see in 2020 than so much what we saw in 2021 after his surgery. And then we add Christian Beal Smith, who rushed for well over 1,000 yards last year at Wake Forest. He's kind of replacing Kevin Harris, I think, in the running back room. Maybe not as a starter, but he's taken over a position back there. So we'll see. Is he going to be an upgrade over Kevin Harris? I don't know. He's got a lot of experience. Now at Wake Forest, he did play a different type offense than what he's going to play out at South Carolina. Is that going to be a challenge for him, or is it really not going to matter? To me, I think it's really not going to matter all that much. And then you talk about familiarity. Well, he's familiar with one opponent at least on your schedule, right? The Taters, and didn't really do real well against them last year. So maybe he's looking to make a mark for himself on that front. All in all, I expect the offense to be much improved. Even not in because of Marcus Satterfield, it's kind of in spite of him. Because regardless of all that, I still don't think the guy's a very good offensive coordinator. You could say, well, he needs to grow into that role, Carolina Jack. But well, my God, I mean, the guy is almost the same age as me. I'm 47. I mean, I know he's like at least 42 something. He's not young. I mean, he's not like one of these 30-something coaches. So he should be to the point right now where he's able to coach an offense. We shouldn't have to have this big, huge learning curve with him. I mean, for God's sake, he worked for the Carolina Panthers. You can't come down to college and coach some college kids. Come on. So offensively, I think South Carolina's going to be much improved there. The receiver position for the Gamecocks, I mean, I feel reasonably well about this. Josh Vann was a guy that he was an absolute monster last year and was hurt for a decent amount of the season as well. He's coming back, and this is a guy that kind of came out of nowhere, right? His first 3 years at South Carolina, everybody was wondering, when is this guy going to do anything? When are we going to see Josh Vann? And sometimes it looked like it was milk. At some points, I thought the guy wasn't even on the team anymore. And I'm not being facetious, funny, or silly. I really didn't. I'd totally forgotten about him. He had reached kidnapped status. But last year, all of a sudden, I mean, just comes out of nowhere, really, and is a huge part of the offense, especially in the first few games, and then they're along towards the end of the season.
Stay in the right lane.
Upgrades, transfer portal. Antoine Wells Jr., they call him Juice. from he's from James Madison, I think it was. This guy is going to be a big deal. Already
turn onto Army Road.
Working pretty well with Spencer Rattler. Yeah, so we'll see. Xavier Leggett returns to South Carolina again. The kid from Georgia Tech transfer, the Marion Brown, going to be another good one for us. And we've added some other pieces there as well. Wide receiver is, a position for the Gamecocks that'll be a position of strength. Okay, shut up. It'll be a position of strength for us. Defensively, linebackers always going to be a concern. They've been recruiting well at that position. It's not going to help us in 2022. You got Brad Johnson back there. Been around South Carolina for 100 years, it seems like, and has had some decent seasons. Maybe he can put it all together this year. Muhammad Kaba is another one that really I'd like to see have a breakout season. I've seen some good things from him. That defensive line is going to be. We've got to stop the run. South Carolina has got to pressure quarterbacks more, and they've got to stop the run more than what we saw them do last year. And this has not been just a last year thing. This has been a problem for a while at South Carolina. This was a problem under Will Muschamp, defensive guru, defensive genius, Will Muschamp. They had problems stopping the run. I think another year in that system under Luke Day, his strength and conditioning program, I think, another year under Clayton White and Jimmy Lindsey and Jimmy Jam, I believe that defensive line is going to be much improved this year, and I think it's going to be a strength of the pro. Look, if Jordan Birch, former 5-star, if he can't really get out there and produce this year in the first few games, I think they need to take a look at someone else at that position, because he has been, and I'm not trashing kids, but he has been the biggest disappointment that I've seen come through that program in a long time. He really has, and I don't know if it's up here. I don't know if it's a strength and physicality thing. I don't know if it's in here. I don't know if he inherently, when I just look at him, I don't see inherent toughness. I just don't see it. I don't see a motor. When I look at Jadeveon Clowney, I could look at him and say, hey, he's got that sly smile on his face, but he looks like somebody that'd probably knock your dick in the dirt and not think twice about it. I don't see that when I look at Jordan Birch. I see large, grown-up, muscular, athletic Steve Urkel. That's what I see. That is just what I see. And that's proven itself out on the field. I have not seen a whole lot. Last year, he intercepted a pass against Eastern Illinois, took it back for a touchdown. Wonderful. That's great. What else? What should we do last year? Yeah, and he's made some plays here and there, but as a whole, I ain't been seeing it. Secondary, South Carolina, once again, I think is going to be, a position of need. The kid that came over from Central Michigan looks to really factor for us back there at the defensive backfield. He's going to start right away. Cam Smith, lockdown corner, is listed on all SEC teams. We'll see. I think that you're looking for a special season from this guy, especially when you're playing some teams that have wide receivers who, as Uncle Lou likes to say, can quote unquote take the top off of defense. I think that can help remedy a lot of that. And you play a lot of teams who are going to throw the ball around quite a bit this year. Your Tennessees, even Kentucky. Kentucky's at it. They added a passing game last year. They started adding a forward passing game to their offensive repertoire. Got to combat that. You play Arkansas. Arkansas can throw the ball around a little bit. That's going to be a tough matchup. So, secondary, I think that, coupled with the fact that Clayton White is a specialist
in 2 miles
in that area of your defense. So, I think South Carolina is going to be solid on defense, despite some losses. We are poised for another pretty good season defensively. Are they elite? No. Are they top 3, 4 in the SEC? Probably not. They're probably middle of the pack somewhere, though. I don't think they're going to lose you any games. And they didn't lose you any games last year. Your offense lost you games last year. Your offense lost games last year. Your offense, and you want to sit here and tell me that it did very much happen. You want to say, well, look how many points you gave up to Tennessee. How about this? How about Tennessee's defense last year was absolutely horrendous. You scored 20 points on them. You scored 20 points. That's what I'm saying. Purdue scored like 50. You had offensive problems last year. That hurts your defense more than anything. Special teams, I think South Carolina's going to be fine. Got to find a place kicker to replace Mr. Automatic, Parker White. That guy won double-digit games during his career for us. Was automatic on extra points. Hell, the one damn time he got a chance to score a touchdown, I remember it got called back. That's just our luck. But we were also playing Alabama, so you know how that goes. Special teams will be fine. Pete Limbo, best special teams coach in the country, probably. If you ever watch Pete Limbo do an interview, this guy's got it going on. Very articulate, very intelligent coach, kind of coach that I think a lot of people would like to play for. And unfortunately, the type of coach, quite frankly, I don't expect to be around in South Carolina very much longer. I expect him to get another head coaching gig somewhere. And if you look at this guy, he looks like he's 65. But in reality, I think he's just maybe a shade over or under 50 years old. He's still got a lot of gas left in the tank there. I like Coach Limbo a lot. And your other coaches, I mean, I feel confident with this staff. I even feel confident. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I even feel confident with Greg Atkins, the offensive line coach. This guy has done some great things with his offensive lines at Marshall and other places he's been. I think that possibly his scheme last year may have been a little bit difficult for the offensive line to understand coming into it. I see no reason why that offensive line, who paved the way for Kevin Harris to rush for 1,000 yards in 10 games and become the SEC's leading rusher in 2020, couldn't block shit last year. I don't see any reason why that would have happened other than I don't think it was poor coaching. I really think, looking back, that there were just issues there understanding things schematically. And that should not have happened. So we'll see.
Take a slight left turn onto Addo Road.
The only individual that I'm concerned about is the offensive coordinator, Marcus Satterfield. I just not a fan. I'm just not a fan of the guy. Last year, I didn't see enough changes made when they needed to be made. Give them credit at crunch time. They did the right things, called the right plays to win games against East Carolina, Vanderbilt, and Troy. I mean, we did what we had to do in those games. It's embarrassing to say that we had to pull those games out. It's embarrassing to say for Carolina Jackpot, but that's what we faced.
Take a slight left turn onto Addo Road.
Are y'all getting tired of hearing that? I'm getting tired of hearing that. I'm sorry if you're still watching this video. I know you're definitely tired of hearing it. So I finally turned that down. You know what? I can actually look at it and it tells me where to go. I don't have to have it blasting in my face. Schedule-wise, and I hear this a lot. I hear this a lot from the Gamecock fans. I hear it a lot from the national media. I see it on Twitter and everywhere else. Well, this team this team probably goes 6-6. Your schedule's brutal. I think you'll probably finish up 7-5. Your schedule's brutal. Bah. Guess what? The schedule is going to be brutal every year. Guys, it's going to be brutal every year. You play in the best conference in college football. Your arch rival who you play every year, as much as it pains me to say it, has been one of the elite teams in college football for the last 8 to 10 years. They have. And I hate admitting that. I can't stand them. But those are facts. When you start winning a few games and start doing a little bit better, that schedule is not going to be brutal. It's brutal. It's brutal. It's an SEC schedule, gang. It is an SEC schedule. You play Texas A&M, probably the second best team in the West. You got them at home. Tennessee is a good team. It's supposed to be. You got them at home. Kentucky, it's a road game. You played them close last year. You think you're better than Kentucky. You should be better than Kentucky. We got to go on the road and play them. The other non-conference games are a joke. What else do you want? You can't play Vanderbilt 8 weeks out of the year. It's not happening. You can't alternate between Vanderbilt, Auburn, Mizzou, and Mississippi State. It's going to be tough. I'm not even sure you'd beat all those teams. I'm not so sure you'd beat them all. Well, there's that. I get tired of hearing the schedule's tough. I get tired of hearing that. It's always going to be tough to some degree, and it's going to be even tougher if you're fielding a crappy football team. So could this be a breakout season for South Carolina? Could it be their best season since 2013? On paper, I think yes. I think on paper that it's possible that it could. In reality, do I think that it's going to be? No, I really don't. Because I don't know yet that winning culture, that swagger, that inherent toughness, that ability to play really well against teams that you are totally outclassed by. I just don't know that it's there yet. I don't know that it's there yet. I know you had some really good games last year against against Auburn and Florida, teams that were more talented than you, teams that were favored over you, one of them by double digits. However, then I look at blowout losses against Texas A&M and Clemson, and then granted they were in the same boat as far as being more talented than you and double-digit favorites, but why couldn't you put it together there? You were a double-digit underdog against North Carolina. Why could you put it together against North Carolina? Why couldn't you have put something together against Clemson? Why'd you have to beat North Carolina by 17 points? I'd have took beating them by 3 points if you could have put something together against Clemson and at least scored a couple of touchdowns. That way I wouldn't have to be seeing a bunch of memes that say 30 to that the idiots like to throw in our face all the time. So we've got that. I think that on paper this could be South Carolina's best team since 2013. However, in reality of what I think is going to happen, I don't see us with those type results. Not yet. And once again, I'm not making an official pick and prediction video. Not at this time. I'm not ready for that yet. I've already told you I'm going to wait until not the fall of the year, until they call it fall camp. It's not really fall camp. It's hot as hell summer camp. It's the first few weeks of August camp is what it is. I want to see how we do a week or so into that. I want to see if we have any injuries that pop up that may factor into the season. Would it not be the most South Carolina thing ever for like Spencer Rattler to trip and fall over the edge of a sidewalk in Columbia somewhere and break an ankle and be out for, you know, half the season. Something freaky, something damn crazy to have. Would that not just be South Carolina luck? You know, Luke Doty got stepped on last year. What's to say Spencer Rattler can't fall down and break something? God, I hope not. They really need to put the guy in a plastic bubble after August starts. He needs to be in a plastic bubble right now, to be quite honest with you. Let's go on ahead and get it done. Guys, that's about all I got to say about that. Carolina Jackpots. If you enjoyed this video, there was a lot of rambling on in here. I understand that. But I do enjoy getting on here and talking college football with you guys. And quite often, it is a lot of rambling. It's not all straight facts, straight from the horse's mouth. Sometimes they come from the horse's, but they're from the heart. They're from the heart, the mind, and the soul of a Gamecock. And hopefully, God dang it, you bunch of fucking idiots up here. Stupidness. That's all I got to say about it, guys. Subscribe to this channel if you're not subscribed already. Hit the thumbs up, and I will see y'all next time. I appreciate you. Peace out. Out of here. Go Gamecocks, and go Coach Beamer. Woo!